We're talking about weddings today because it has been crazy, hectic wedding season for us.
It is. Wedding season is in full swing.
They shoved me in the back of
That was
the
a crazy
security
event.
guy's
Yeah.
truck.
Marrying a Duggar has disoriented me to how many people are supposed to be at a wedding. What's up, everybody? Ginger and Jeremy here for another episode of the Ginger and Jeremy podcast. And today, what are we talking about?
Weddings. We're talking about weddings today because it has been crazy, hectic wedding season for us.
It is. Wedding season is in full swing.
Yes. So many of our friends and some family, they've gotten married, and I think this weekend has just been wild.
A whirlwind. I attended 2 weddings this weekend.
Yeah.
One of them in Big Bear, which is a couple hours away, and then another local here. But we just got back a few days ago from Jana's wedding.
Yeah.
Jana's
crazy.
married.
Jana is married, and I know so many of you guys have really followed her journey and waited for this day, as we all have, and we're so excited that she's married and super excited for Jana and Stephen.
Yeah, and it was an incredible wedding. And so we want to talk about that wedding. Yeah. It was a beautiful wedding. It was a great time to go home and visit family and explore Arkansas. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about wedding season.
Talk about our wedding.
Talk about our wedding a little bit because it brings back memories. Anytime you go to a wedding, I don't know if other people are like this, but it makes you think. Like when I was at the rehearsal dinner, I was thinking about our rehearsal dinner. Mm-hmm. And then you're looking at Jana and Stephen and you're thinking, what's going through their head?
Yes.
And trying to think, remember what was going through mine.
Yeah.
Did that do that for you?
Yeah, it does. Every time I feel like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, especially family weddings.
Yeah.
They always take me back to the day that we said, I do.
Everybody's running around, helping out, doing things.
Yeah.
And a lot of volunteers, the family volunteering to do stuff. So it was a Duggar wedding is a fascinating event because it's high capacity. There's a lot of people coming because you've got a ton of friends that have a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. And so they're always going to be big weddings. Yeah.
They're usually pretty good size. Jana and Stephen's was probably one of the smallest weddings we've had for a Duggar family wedding. I think it was just I think they had no kids unless you were related. And so, I mean, that's really big just with family. Right. Our family, the Westman family, we both have large families. And so I think it's just when they all come together, that's a ton of people. And then she was just more selective with the guest list, I think.
How many people were at the wedding?
Probably 450 maybe. I don't know.
So marrying a Duggar has disoriented me to how many people are supposed to be at a wedding. Because we had about 1,200 people, I think. Yeah. And then
I think the capacity of the venue was supposed to be 1,000 for how many seats they had, but they were pews downstairs. And so people just crowded into those. And then upstairs, they had a little loft area in the back. And so that was filled. Yeah. And I think we barely made it with the amount of people we had who were invited. They could barely make it into our venue.
And it was nice having a big wedding has advantages and disadvantages. This weekend, I went to 2 weddings. You came with me to the second one. And both of them were about 80 to 100 people max. So pretty small weddings or maybe average size weddings, but at smaller venues. And there was a really sweet intimacy to that.
Yeah. That was our rehearsal dinner. It was ours had, I think, 200 people at our rehearsal dinner. But it was all of your family, all of my family, and then a couple close friends, really. It wasn't that many extras, but I think it's just with larger families, everything has to be bigger. It has to be on a bigger scale.
Right. So how do you even go about planning a wedding for over 1,000 people? I mean, that's a big wedding.
I don't know how they did it for me. So actually, it's crazy. I think I did not have to plan most of my wedding. I had a lot of other people around me who did that. Yeah, my mom's best friend, Cindy, she had kind of taken over the decorations, all of that, because I trusted her style, and she nailed it. And then with all the food and all of that, we weren't serving an actual meal to that many people because that would have been a little crazy. So we had like cupcakes, a cheese table, things like that were really good. Why do we have a cheese table? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, because
Let's try to see if you remember this one.
my one of my groomsmen, Luke, said, "I'll only be in your wedding if you have a cheese table."
So you're like, done.
Yeah, I was like, I like cheese. Let's do a cheese table.
Funny.
Yeah, wild. But Jana and
it.
Stephen had a great dinner. But the Wismans, I think, put this dinner together, didn't they?
Yeah, it was super good. It was really good food. I wanted to go back for like seconds and then thirds because I was so hungry.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was such good food. And then they like are really good at baking too. So I heard that they had really good desserts. For some reason,
You didn't get to
I
them.
didn't make it over to the desserts.
Really?
So I think for the rehearsal dinner, didn't they like have pies and stuff like that they made? Was it pies or cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake, but
Yes.
I didn't get that either.
Really? Was
I
that the
didn't get
rehearsal
it.
dinner or the wedding? It's all blurring together.
I
had some
remember.
serious cheesecake though.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay, so weddings, getting ready for weddings. Think back to the days leading up to it. I mean, was it a blur for you, or do you have concrete memories, and can you go back and kind of put yourself where you were, the 2-3 days, day before our wedding? What were you feeling back then?
Right before our wedding, it was kind of crazy. I think I remember there was so much happening. I think there was an election, and it was wild.
Well, we got married November 5th.
Yeah, there was like an election happening, and so there was just like a lot of chaos around that. And then it was like, I remember like family coming in and staying on the property, like near us and stuff. And then my grandma, I remember she got to be there for like when I tried on my dress for the last time before the wedding.
Yeah.
That was a really special memory. And all of those little things that you really cherish. And I think as you count down to a wedding, there's just so much that has to be done around that time. Like, you have like days before you're going to have thousands of people around you, to celebrate. And so with that, like there can be a lot of stress, but I feel like my family and friends really took that load off of me. So I was able to just sit back and enjoy that time and not have to be rushing around worrying. And I also am more that temperament. Like I can be hands off on things. I don't really have too much of a preference when it comes to like every single detail of my wedding. I was like, it's fine. Like I trust the people who are like really good at decor, like really good at flowers. You'll nail it,
Right.
So I'm not as like much of like a temperament, is not like a micromanager. But how was it for you though? Like, were you just chilling?
It was a bit of a whirlwind. I do remember though, because I was given advice right before my wedding from a friend to be present and take it in, and don't allow the whirlwind and excitement to make you not be aware of the moment, I guess. So I was very conscientious that, okay, this is going to be a whirlwind weekend. Obviously, there's so much to look forward to in the future. So you're thinking, we're going to start our life together. We're going to go on the honeymoon. And so you might zoom past the rehearsal dinner or zoom past those special moments leading up to everything. And the advice was just be in the moment and enjoy each moment, because you'll look back in a moment like this on this podcast where we're looking back and thinking about that, and you'll want to have, cherish those memories. And so I was really conscientious of that. I remember going to bed the night before our wedding in the little guest house near your home, and seeing the sunset and just sitting there for a few minutes thinking about that. Waking up the next morning, you were at another house down the street, and so I went over and we had devotions together.
Yeah.
Read
That was
scripture,
really sweet.
prayed together. And was that breaking some rule about not seeing each other on the wedding day or something before?
I think it did, but we were
But I think
not traditional.
you weren't prepared, or you didn't have
No,
your
I
dress
wasn't
on or
ready.
anything,
I
so
mean, I just like got up.
I don't know what
and
rules are for that.
I don't know. I feel like some people are like, you can't see them at all on the wedding day.
Right.
Others say you can't see them in your dress, but
There's
I
a
didn't
lot
really
of
care.
interesting traditions. I wonder where those things come from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're like superstitious or if they're like,
Yeah.
if they're like just like somebody made it up and everybody does it. I don't know.
So anyway, we saw each other the wedding morning, but that was really sweet. That was special. I remember that very vividly. And then, it was cool just having family come in, people you haven't seen in years, good friends that you're sending an invitation to and hoping they'll be able to come, but not 100% sure if they will, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a very special weekend. The one thing I think I regret is our wedding was so big and we didn't get to spend time with everybody.
Yeah, it was really rushed. Yeah. I feel like by the time our wedding ended, we had to start an hour. Was it an hour and a half late? An hour late?
Oh, I don't remember.
It was very late.
Was it really?
I think it was at least an hour. And that was kind of outside of our control. It was just getting people into the venue safely and, without craziness happening. And then once it started, it kind of pushed back our photo time. So we did not see each other.
Oh, wow.
And because I was until I was walking down the aisle.
Right.
And that's something that was great. I loved that aspect of our wedding, but it also made it kind of difficult because we had an afternoon wedding. And so as soon as we were done, we went to the rehearsal instead of going and taking photos in between.
Yes. Because that's what it was.
We messed that up. So we really should have done photos and then spent time with people.
Yeah.
In between.
So we went to the rehearsal because there was something about the photographer wanted to get golden hour, which I'm glad they did because those were really
gorgeous
pretty photos.
But I was like, you also could have
it shortened the reception time.
We were only at the reception for an hour max.
Yeah. See, that's one thing I wish we could go back and
because it was
redo.
It was crazy. Yeah. I feel like we saw a handful of people.
Right.
And then we were out.
Yeah.
And even when we left, we didn't take our getaway car. That was wild.
Yeah.
We had some really interesting scenarios happen there that I think some of it was on the show, some of it probably wasn't.
Right. Because we were still filming at the time. So that was an added dynamic to the whole wedding was you're on a schedule with videographers and all of those things. And then you had some people trying to get into the wedding who weren't supposed to be there. And so that added another dimension. But I thought that was fun. I mean,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We didn't get any of our wedding food. I remember that because there was food.
Right.
They did have food for us. They had desserts and all of that. And we also were supposed to get wedding cake. I think we took one bite. And then
we definitely did.
They had it in our getaway car, but we had to switch last minute because, that's what it was. But I don't know what you call it. But then we had to end up going in another truck because we were being followed. And so they shoved me in the back of
that was
the
a crazy
security
event.
guy's truck. And it was small. It wasn't even a crew cab. It just had a back row that was those skinny back rows. It's a half door you open.
Right.
Can't remember what that's called. But anyhow, they shoved me in there with my big dress. My train was 13 feet long. And they shoved me in the back. And then they were he said, just stay down. And he threw his suit coat on top of me. And then he told you to get in the floorboard of his truck. So you got down in the floorboard. And he said, hold on. And he took off. And we were able to get away because the issue was we had people trying to follow us to our wedding photos to release photos before they were supposed to be out. And so we knew we had to get away to get our wedding photos. But it kind of made everything rushed. And then we missed out on a couple aspects of our wedding that could have been cute, nice,
But I remember thinking, everybody's having fun. Everybody's there enjoying it. And so it would have been nicer to stay a bit longer, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is I still to this day, I was telling someone the other day, have people come up to me around church or when we're back in Arkansas, and they'll say, yeah, I was at your wedding, and I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Because it was on your side.
Yeah.
And you have so many people who come to your weddings and friends of friends, and a wedding that size, there's just no way to keep track of everybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of crazy.
And so I'm meeting people 5 years later or 7 years later who hey, nice to meet you. And they were at my wedding.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
It's crazy.
So the weddings I went to this weekend with just little tiny people, just a few people.
Praise that.
Just a few people. just a totally different vibe.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like it's more intimate because then you actually get around to those who you really know and love and care about. And I think that is such a sweet thing. So I love smaller weddings. I thought they're awesome. Big weddings are great too. But I think like, I felt like Jana's wedding was like really special.
Yes.
It was
kind of the perfect size.
So special. Totally. A good amount of people. Yeah. The crew. Oh my word. It was really funny. So I was like trying to hold back tears the whole time, you know, like the wedding ceremony,
You're everything. You're going to cry now.
I feel like I'm going to cry. It's terrible. But every time I talk about them, I cry. But anyhow, I like made it through the ceremony and I kept looking at Johanna and I was like, is she crying? I can't cry. So I'd like just try to look at, you know, think about other things, not cry in the wedding ceremony because I knew I didn't have tissues. I meant to put some in my bouquet or in a pocket or something. And so I was like, I can't cry because I don't have tissues. And then I made it through and I was like, I did it. And then we walk out to the lobby and out come the crew members. And I started crying. Johanna started bawling. We were like, this is terrible. Yeah. We all started crying the second we saw the crew. And it was just so sweet to like have them there. Right. It was a bit of a reunion. And we were able to hang out with them that like most of the evening there. And then even some of them went to my family's house afterwards just to spend time with different ones of the siblings. And it was really sweet.
Yeah, you guys stayed up till 1 or 2 a.m. hanging with the crew.
It was crazy. So fun.
It's special because they're family, really.
Yeah, they are.
And that was cool. There was a couple crew members like Kyle. I was like, oh, Kyle, when's the last time we hung out? And it was 7 years ago. And I was
7 years.
What?
That's wild.
It just felt like a few years ago. And
time flies.
That's not when the show ended, but he was on the set.
Yeah, only over that time.
Over that time. And so it felt like yesterday.
That's wild.
I thought he'd say, yeah, it was two and a half years. You know, he'd say it's 2.5 years ago, but it was 7 years ago. So
wild.
Yeah, that was a cool.
That was so fun. So fun.
Jim was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was amazing. So then we stayed longer too. Like after the wedding, we were able to stay and like catch up with family, which was so sweet. I feel like some friends here were asking me about that. They said, oh yeah, did you get to spend time with your siblings? And I was thinking, actually, I feel like this trip, I was actually able to connect more, even like not one-on-one, because like we were in a group setting with like, you know, 3 or 4 of my siblings at a time, but I was able to connect with them, hear what they're up to. And it's wild because most of them are grown, married, have their own kids. And so life just gets hectic, busy, crazy for all of us. And with that many siblings, like you can't just call all of your siblings all the time. Like it's just hard to like keep up with everybody. And so when we go back, usually if we're there for like 2 to 3 days, that's not enough time to like see everybody and to like actually be able to connect. So I was really thankful that we were able to do that. And like Felicity and Evie had the best time with their cousins. They miss them so much. Felicity talks about her cousins a lot now and just wants to go back and hang out with them. So anyhow, it was a really sweet time. It was so much fun.
Okay, let's talk about Jana and Stephen.
Yeah.
So they're married.
Yes. Jana was the most gorgeous bride. I was standing there and I thought, oh my word, she looks like a Disney princess. Like she was so lovely as she always is, but she was just stunning and so happy. I mean, just seeing the smile on her face, it just makes you tear up. Because I was like, oh, Jana, we've all wanted this for you for so long. And just seeing her so happy on that day, I was like, oh, I want the day to last forever. So here I go getting emotional again. But I'm like, it was the sweetest wedding. And everything was so classy and elegant. Like every detail that she put together was amazing. From like the getaway car. What do you think about that? I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think Jason and Maddie went out to Oklahoma to pick it up, I think, that day. Well, I think it's sweet. I mean, it's a beautiful celebration.
Yeah.
And we have been praying for her and Stephen
long.
And grateful for Stephen. Stephen's a good guy. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to be happy. They're going to live in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to Nebraska once.
When did we go to Nebraska?
We've never been to Nebraska. I don't think I've ever been to Nebraska. Wasn't there a wedding out there or no?
I don't think so.
So
wait, was
have
there?
you been in Nebraska before? No, maybe that was Oklahoma. That was in Tulsa.
Was there one? My memory right now is failing me.
I wonder what life will be like for Jana in Nebraska.
She'll love it. She'll be great. Yeah. I think that Jana she'll be like perfect for that setting. I think like, she doesn't love the crazy hustle and bustle of a big city. So I think like it'll just be another small town vibe. And, yeah. And I think like they have a lot of family there too. And so I think that they'll have like she'll have some people that she knows, and then building a community will be fun for them out there.
For sure.
Together, since Stephen's already established. And then I think with his work and all, Jana is just like a go-getter. She just loves projects, loves doing things, building things. So I don't think that that's going to stop. I think she's just going to continue to do that there. So it'll be sweet.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the actual wedding day itself.
Yeah.
Because you were in the bridal party, obviously, so you get there early. Did it remind you of what our wedding day was like, or was it completely different?
It's so different because you're not the bride. And so being there as a bridesmaid was really sweet. Just hanging out with my sisters, my mom, Jana, was priceless. It was so much fun. And then there were also some of the Bates girls who were there doing like hair and makeup and stuff like that, which was really fun to see. So getting to connect with them again after, I don't know, what felt like years was also really sweet. And so just a lot of good memories were made that day. And yeah, just getting ready together was so fun. Lauren Nakatsu, so Katie's sister, did my makeup last minute because I was like, I just wish I had somebody to do my makeup today. And she happened to be just there to help out and stuff. So she did my makeup, got my hair done, and then we were ready for the wedding to start. And it was just, it's so surreal because like it's your sister getting married, you know? And like I said, it's just the sweetest thing to see how happy she was the entire day. And all of us girls being there together was like my favorite thing ever. Yeah. So yeah, and I keep talking and I'm going to keep crying because it was just so sweet.
But they came out, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding? And yeah. But you had the opportunity to have some of your sisters out a few weeks before the wedding.
Yeah, that was very special.
Like a bachelorette.
Yeah, Jana got to come out for her bachelorette, and my mom, and then some of my sisters. It was just so sweet to have them out here. And we stayed here one night, and then we went to Santa Barbara, and that was amazing. Like, we just stayed up so late. We went to a festival. It was really fun. Like, they had tons of awesome Mexican food. I think it was like Mexican Heritage, and they had so much good food. We ate like so many tacos, the corn that they have. Oh my word. I'm like craving it now. The street corn. Yeah. And we were up so late. When I say so late, guys, I mean, like, if we stay up till 11 or 12, that's so late for me.
We're at that age
I can't do it anymore.
Midnight is considered late.
I know. Once you turn 30, it's like, nope.
But I was so happy for you that weekend because you don't get those opportunities to spend time like that, concentrated time with your mom, with your sisters. Yeah, for sure.
And it was so
just
sweet.
For you to have 3 days together and then to go out a few weeks later at the wedding. Yeah. And have that time because
it's such a gift.
Life gets busy, and I don't know if we're doing life right in the West where we're so busy all the time, but you miss that community and you miss communal living where you can just spend time and sit with your loved ones and you don't have something pressing on you. And weddings oftentimes give us that opportunity
to slow down and connect with family. The other thing that was really sweet at Jana's wedding was having a lot of the relatives in. So my mom's siblings who came, that was like amazing to have them there. I know so many of them had prayed for Jana for so many years. Sure. And just really invested in her in so many ways. And it was sweet to see they drove all that way to come see her from Ohio. And it was awesome. It was so cool. So having family, friends, getting to see all the people was great.
Yeah. One of the best parts of the wedding, and this was a brilliant idea. I don't know if it was Jana's idea or her and Stephen's, but all of the little flower girls.
So
How many?
adorable.
There's probably 20 flower girls.
There were so many.
15.
It was
maybe.
like all of the nieces, I think, from both sides of the family,
Yeah.
from the Wistman side and the Duggar side. It was really sweet. And they were all in their matching dresses. And they were, I think, they looked like they were about like maybe 6 or 7 all the way down to like tiny baby.
You mean ages? Yeah.
In age, yeah.
Yeah.
Did not say that.
Do you think Evie was the youngest at 3 or?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So it was funny because I remember, I think Jed and Katie's wedding might have been the first, or maybe there was one before where Felicity was a flower girl and she was petrified. And I remember having to walk her down the aisle at Jed and Katie's.
Yes.
And so I walked
Yeah.
with her down the aisle because she was terrified. And then
Yeah.
she's done several more since then. And now she's 6 and she has this band of flower girls of probably 15 or more flower girls behind her, and she's leading the way down the aisle.
That was really
because they were
sweet.
all nervous, but she was
Yeah.
like the vet. you
It
know?
was so cute. And I think like now she's one of the older ones and probably won't be a flower girl much longer because she's probably about to outgrow that role. But it was really sweet. She was so brave and led the charge. And then she was like, Mom, I think I was a little shy walking down there. And I was like, you did so good. I said, you weren't shy. Like you were the one who actually led the pack
Yeah.
of the girls. And so, yeah, but she loved it. It was so cute.
Our girls
They
have
looked
grown
adorable.
up. I know.
All
they
those
did.
little girls. And we were trying to keep them. I was trying to keep Evie from seeing me because I knew
Yep.
as we were about to walk in, you were already inside. They wanted all of the parents like at the front,
Yeah.
sitting in the front. So that way the little girls would like go down to them. And so I thought if she sees me, it's over. Like she can't see me because Evie likes to be
Yeah.
with mom or dad a lot. And so she just walked down though. She did great. I was really surprised.
It was cute because I'm sitting on the front row, and both Felicity and Evie come to me after doing what flower girls do, and they have they each had a little basket, like a wicker
Yeah.
basket, and they all had, or both of our girls had leftover flower petals. And so they sat in the front row and the wedding is going on and they're still throwing flower petals out. So on the front
so
row
funny.
near where I was sitting was like a pool of flower petals. And
That's
they just kept
awesome.
throwing them for probably 5 minutes.
And then they took the petals with them
Yep.
after. Cause I was like, we better not take these home. And then Felicity wanted to throw hers in the grass. And I was like, if you throw them in the grass, you have to clean them up again because these are not real. They were not real
Yeah.
flower petals. It was really cute. But yeah, they really embraced the flower girl position and did great with it.
Yeah, they did the role.
I was very impressed.
So, watching Jana over the years, there's probably people who can relate to Jana's story of, they want to be married or they want something in life.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, the Lord's having them wait, because Jana's an incredible woman. So it's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, I
She's
think,
a catch.
yeah, she's a catch.
She's really great.
And so, seeing her patience and trust in the Lord and how he rewarded that with Stephen, who's, her knight in shining armor. And,
Yeah.
it was really special to see and to be there it's not often in life that we tangibly get to watch God answer prayers in a way where we say, oh, look, I'm here experiencing this answer to prayer in such a tangible way.
Yeah, it was so sweet. I
You're
keep
getting emotional
crying. I
again?
keep crying every time we talk about it because
I
I
love
was
it.
like, yeah, it was just so sweet to see how she had such a sweet attitude. And
Yeah.
I know like even with all of us getting married, a lot of her younger siblings, she was always so excited for us and cheering us on, being there to support us
Yeah.
through our weddings. And then getting to do that for her
Yeah.
was the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
And it makes me cry just talking about it. So
It's sweet. It's your
I'm
sister.
so excited for her.
It's your
Yeah.
sister. And
That's my
she's
tissue.
she is an incredible woman, and I admire her for that because she really trusted the Lord. She never,
Yeah.
for whatever struggles or however a trial it was at whatever point, I don't know, but she always honored the Lord, trusted him, and that's exemplary. I mean, that's exemplary for us, you and me, in other areas of life, because we've all got things where we're grasping for something, or we want something to go a certain way, or we say, God, this would be perfect if only you could do this, and he doesn't. And it requires patient trust. John MacArthur said once about life, he said, when you believe in the sovereignty of God, that God is in control, life becomes a matter of patient trust.
That's so good.
Because you just know the Lord is in control. The Lord is ordaining things. The Lord is guiding, opening and closing doors and leading and caring. And so now it's on me to patiently trust him. And Jana was such an exemplary role model in just patient trust in the Lord. And now she's got Stephen, who's a handsome devil and hardworking, and
great.
they're going to go live in Nebraska and enjoy life.
Yep. I'm so excited for her.
We'll give her about 6-7 months and then say, all right, Jana, come help us out with some home renovations.
Come because we need some projects done around here.
Yeah. I told her, I said, all right, we're going to give you half a year and then we need your help.
We're calling you. Y'all are coming here.
We're calling you.
I like it.
So funny. Well, it's sweet to think back on our wedding. I remember that moment. The most vivid memory I have from our wedding is when you walked down the aisle. And I can only imagine what Stephen was feeling when he saw Jana. But I remember what I was feeling. And my buddy James' song had just told me, don't ugly cry. So I was thinking, don't break down here. Yeah. But watching you walk down the aisle and knowing my life is about to change forever for the better. And it's interesting now, we're almost at our 8th year anniversary. And we're looking back and thinking about life together. And I had no idea what was in store on that day. And you really do think like, this is the greatest day of my life. And it is. And it only gets better. And so since then, we've walked through a lot together, and we've welcomed 2 little girls into the world. And you look back and think, man, it's been an incredible ride. It's only almost 8 years in, and it's just been a beautiful ride. And so anticipating that for Jana and Stephen, what's ahead.
Yeah. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's fun times. And, I think our girls had a great time too. So what advice would you give to a couple getting married as they prepare for wedding, thinking about what they should focus on the wedding day as they get ready for marriage, and then as they start their journey of life together?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like you said, just cherishing that moment when you're in it and pausing, trying to remember what you're doing and what's in front of you, who's in front of you, family and friends who come in. That's such a sweet moment. And I think you do such a good job with that. So I'd actually want to throw the question back at you. I feel like even in the way that you take note of in journals and stuff, you'll just talk about oh yeah, it's the sun's shining right now. I'm sitting here at this desk and I see, outside there's a hummingbird in front of me. You just try to take in the moment and lock it in. And then you remember okay, this is where I was. This is what I was thinking at this moment. And taking notes, I think even journaling helps. And so we journaled a ton, around that time, things we were thinking. I think that that's something, a good way to remember, because there's so much craziness, busyness. A lot of things are on your mind. Excitement just kind of can make you almost push past some things and not take note, but pausing, taking that time to even be in the Word together, like you said, was sweet for us. And then journaling about that time. I think that those are ways to remember and kind of not let that time pass by so quickly.
Yeah. Thinking that the mundane, the things you don't think are significant, will actually help bring you back to that memory. I heard a good piece of advice from my friend Joey, who said a wedding is the first opportunity that you have as a couple to serve others and to love those around you. And I think that's such a contrast to how some people think about their wedding as it's all about me. We hear about bridezillas, the classic bride who's consumed with everything's got to be perfect. This is my big moment, my big day. And instead of it being this selfish, self-consumed, self-centered event where it's all about everybody serving me and serving us and making us have a good time, really, as Christians, we think a wedding is the first opportunity that we have now as a couple, because we're going to live the rest of our life together seeking to pursue Christ and love others. Well, this is the first chance as a couple. This is our first opportunity to do that. And so wanting to be very conscientious of others, even at the event, at the day itself, thinking, how can we make this a day that is enjoyable, that is a delight for our guests? How can we accommodate them? How can we make them feel welcomed and loved? And how can we love on them? And it's such a contrast to maybe how we typically think about the wedding day.
For sure. Yeah. I feel bad for some of our guests. I feel like our wedding was a little chaotic at times. So hopefully it was like that we were able to serve them and they felt served. But I was like thinking back to our own. I hope so.
Well,
it was a little crazy.
I think the one thing is we would have loved to have spent more time with them ourselves.
Yeah.
But as far as their experience, I think it was they had a good time. And that's what I was concerned with. I hope they're having a good time. I hope they're enjoying themselves. And they did. We talked to a lot of our friends afterwards, and they really did have a good time. Of course, a wedding or any event where you have so many people coming together, you think, man, I could spend a whole evening just sitting with the two of us or the four of us. And then you've got childhood friends and family and dozens of people, and you're thinking, this is impossible. We can't sit and spend this quality time with every single person.
Yeah, it's not really the time to do that,
right?
Because there's not time.
Yeah.
So,
but even and even when you're able, I know weddings are expensive and the logistics of everything, but if you have this mindset of thinking about the guest first, then you might have to go the extra mile or pinch a little harder on the pocketbook to make that experience accommodate them. But it goes a long way in establishing yourselves as a couple, saying, hey, we're here to love others. We're here to serve others. We're not here to be served. And I'm not saying it's wrong for a little girl who's dreamed of her wedding day her whole life to think, how do I want things?
Right.
Because this is very special. It
is their day.
It is your day.
It is
in a very big way.
Yeah.
And so enjoy that. But having a mindset of how do we enjoy this in view of others and thinking about others and wanting this to be a delight for them, because in being a delight for your guests, it's going to be the greatest delight for you guys. So, and I think Jana and Stephen did that excellently.
They did such a good job. Their wedding was just next level. Yeah. It might have been one of my favorites attended. So.
Oh, really? You can't.
I loved it.
You rank the weddings in your?
No, I don't rank them, but
every wedding is special in its own way.
Yeah.
I remember Justin and Claire's was another really small one. I think it was the smallest Duggar wedding.
It was actually
ever.
Theirs was small.
And so there's something special about being at an event with 1,500 other people. And then there's something special about, it's like a concert, right? You go to a sold out Madison Square Garden and you're thinking, this is amazing. And then you go to a little dive and you're with, watching some indie band with 20 other people and you're thinking, this is so cool. It's so intimate and special. So each wedding has its own unique taste, and it was fun. Well, we've got to recover now. We got back. We're back from the wedding.
We're back. We are very tired. I think hopefully it doesn't show on this podcast because we
woke up late today.
We were so exhausted. I think we've been going nonstop since Jana's wedding, and
we've got more weddings coming up.
Yeah, there are a lot more.
I think I'm officiating 5 or 6 weddings this season.
Amazing. Yeah, it's wedding season.
And it's fun. It's awesome. It's a lot of free cake. Love the cake.
Yes.
I love when a couple has cake and a cupcake option. Just going to throw that out there.
I
love
that.
a cupcake option.
Yeah.
Last night at Chi and Isabel's wedding, they had like cupcakes that were stuffed with a little bit of something in there.
I didn't get one.
I know.
That's amazing.
It was good.
Okay.
It's delicious.
I like it.
So maybe that's another piece of advice for couples getting married.
Cake and cupcakes, guys.
Cake and cupcakes, yeah.
I like it.
All right, well, guys, thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
like,
ahead.
subscribe.
Yeah, do all the things.
Leave a review. It
Please.
helps. And we've been really actually encouraged, getting a lot of really great feedback from you guys. We've been having fun doing this. So, all right, we'll catch you next time.